Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Montreal, Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NHL landscape lately, you know that the Montreal Canadiens have been making some interesting moves, and there is a lot of buzz around what they're planning for the upcoming season. After a somewhat surprising run to the playoffs in 2025, where they faced tough competition and ultimately fell short against the Washington Capitals in the first round, the Canadiens are clearly signaling their intent to stay competitive and push even further. For a team that has been rebuilding for several years, this is a huge step forward, and fans are buzzing about the potential of this roster, especially with some key additions and strategic moves on the horizon. One of the most significant moves that has caught everyone's attention is the trade for Noah Dobson. Now, Dobson is a player with a lot of upside, a young defenseman with excellent puck-moving skills, and he fits perfectly into Montreal's defensive core. His arrival signals a commitment to strengthening their back end, which has been an area of focus for the team. But beyond this, there's a lot of talk about what's next for the Canadiens, what other moves they might make to solidify their roster and truly contend for the playoffs and beyond. The Canadiens have been active in the trade market, and from what insiders are saying, they are not done yet. They're looking to add pieces that can elevate their game, especially in the forward department. And when it comes to their roster, one of the biggest questions lingering in the minds of fans and analysts alike is about the second-line center position. You see, Nick Suzuki has been nothing short of spectacular in that role. He's become a true leader and a top-tier first-line center, capable of producing at a high level and leading the team in both points and leadership. Suzuki's development has been impressive, and he's now considered one of the most reliable pivots in the league. But the question remains, who will be his consistent complement on that second line? This is where the debate heats up. The Canadiens have a couple of options, but neither is ideal. On one side, you have Kirby Dach, a player with a lot of potential but who has struggled mightily with injuries over the past few seasons. Dach has shown flashes of brilliance when healthy, but staying on the ice has been a challenge for him, which makes fans and management wonder if he's the long-term solution. On the other hand, there's Alex Newhook, who Montreal acquired just before the 2024 NHL draft. Newhook is a talented young player, known for his speed and hockey IQ, and he's shown promise in limited NHL action. But giving him the job as the second-line center right now might be a bit premature, considering his still developing game. So, clearly, Montreal is at a crossroads. They need someone who can step in and provide consistent top-six production, someone who can play those crucial minutes behind Suzuki and help generate scoring opportunities. But finding that player isn't easy, especially given the current roster constraints. The team needs someone reliable, experienced, and capable of handling the pressure of being a second-line center in a playoff-bound team. Now, that brings us to an interesting proposition that some insiders and analysts are discussing, particularly Ryan Dixon from Sportsnet. Dixon suggests that Montreal could look beyond their current options and consider a trade for a veteran who can make an immediate impact. And one name that's been floated around as a perfect fit is Nazem Kadri, currently with the Calgary Flames. This is a fascinating idea because Kadri is a player with a proven track record, a three-time 30-plus goal scorer who has consistently produced at a high level throughout his career. He's known for his playoff experience, his versatility, and his ability to contribute both offensively and defensively. What makes Kadri especially intriguing for the Canadiens is his personal connection to the city and the franchise. Believe it or not, he grew up a Montreal Canadiens fan, and his career actually started at the Bell Centre when he was drafted by Toronto back in 2009. Fans might remember that moment, Kadri, a kid from southern Ontario, getting booed loudly when the Maple Leafs drafted him 7th overall. That's a story that adds a layer of sentimental value for the Canadiens faithful. And now, with the Canadiens looking to add a top six forward who can bolster their scoring depth, Kadri could be the perfect piece. He's a player who can bring that veteran leadership, scoring ability, and playoff experience that Montreal desperately needs as they aim to climb higher in the standings. Of course, there are some obstacles to consider. Kadri's cap hit is around $7 million, which could be a challenge for Montreal's salary cap situation, especially with Carey Price's cap hit being on LTIR. But still, it's manageable with some creative cap management. Another factor is his no-movement clause, which could complicate negotiations. But if the Canadiens make a compelling offer, and if Calgary Flames are out of playoff contention come the trade deadline in 2026, the possibility of a deal becomes more realistic. The Flames narrowly missed the playoffs in 2025, so if they decide to rebuild or retool, Montreal could be an attractive destination for Kadri, especially considering his personal ties to the city. This potential move is exciting because it ticks a lot of boxes. It's about adding a proven scorer, a player who has already demonstrated he can thrive in high-pressure situations, and someone who could immediately elevate Montreal's top six production. Kadri's scoring numbers are impressive. He scored 35 goals in the 2024-25 season, his highest in years, and he's been a consistent point producer over the last few seasons. His playoff experience, including winning a Stanley Cup with Colorado in 2022, makes him a valuable addition as Montreal aims to make a deep postseason run. Now, it's not just about adding a star. It's also about the long-term strategy. Montreal has a core of young players, some of whom have spent time in the AHL and are almost ready to take the next step. This trade could be a catalyst for their development, giving them a veteran to learn from and lean on. The Canadiens' management team seems willing to explore all options, and with their collection of draft picks and prospects, they have the assets needed to make such a trade happen. Looking ahead, the trade deadline in 2026 could be a pivotal moment for the Canadiens. If Calgary's season is already over by then, and they're looking to rebuild, Montreal might be the ideal landing spot for Kadri. It's an opportunity for both sides. Calgary gets a fresh start and potentially some prospects or picks in return, while Montreal gains a player who could be a difference-maker immediately. This potential acquisition also aligns with Montreal's broader goal of not just rebuilding, but becoming a serious playoff contender once again. They've been patient, developing their young talent, but they're also not afraid to make bold moves when the time is right. Kadri could be that missing piece, a veteran leader, a scorer, and someone who understands what it takes to win in the NHL. And for the fans, this is what makes this story so compelling. Kadri, a player who grew up idolizing the Canadiens, wearing the iconic sweater once again, imagine the impact that could have on the dressing room and the fan base. It's a story of redemption, of a kid from Ontario who made good and now has a chance to write a new chapter in Montreal. It would certainly be a story to follow. In conclusion, the Montreal Canadiens are positioning themselves for a serious run, and the addition of a player like Kadri could be the spark they need. With their current roster, prospects, and draft capital, they have the tools to make bold moves, and this trade scenario is just one example of how they might elevate their team for the upcoming seasons. Whether it happens or not, it's clear that Montreal is in a period of strategic growth, and fans should be excited about what's to come. The team is showing ambition, and that's exactly what you want to see as a diehard supporter of the Canadiens. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move for Kadri? Do you think it's the right step for the team? Would you be excited to see him back at the Bell Center, wearing the Canadiens jersey once again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions matter so much to us and to the Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's keep the passion alive for our beloved Canadiens.